What are they getting hung for?
She was the last, she didn't say, but she was the last female to be hung in Pennsylvania.
Oh, wow.
And
He's been doing research for months.
there you go. I thought, I questioned, I said, is it because she burned the bread?
So see. Are you videoing it?
Reaction, I really do.
That was the same reaction.
The exact silence you heard after he said it.
All ye who feel for others' woes with hearts compassionate, or listen to this woeful tale about a poor damsel's fate. Susanna Cox, a country maid, young and a beauty rare in Ole Valley, as a servant, had long lived with Jacob Beer. Ne'er had she been instructed in the course of human law, nor did she know God's holy word which strikes the world withal. For everyone must be aware of what he daily sees. For whom those scriptures don't restrain, they do just as they please. With this grim warning in mind, let us take a look back at the events that led to the death of Susanna Cox. Although they happened over 200 years ago, they have a strange parallel in the world today. Susanna was born in 1785. Very little is known about her family, but that it was large and they had very little money. At the age of 13, Susanna was bound out to the Snyder family with the understanding she would work there for board and lodging and continued to work there until someone came to marry her. No one ever came for Susanna. The Snyders lived on a large farm in the Ole Valley, approximately 20 miles south of here. Susanna never left that Ole Valley. She never learned to read or write. Why, she could not even sign her own name, and she had very little religious training. On a neighboring farm lived the Mertz family. Mr. Mertz, a father of 2 children, took notice of Susanna and started to visit her secretly at night. When Susanna became pregnant, she was so upset she hid it from everyone. She was afraid she'd be put out of the Snyder household where she had been for 11 years and was quite happy. On Friday, February 17, 1809, Jacob Garris, son-in-law of the Snyders, went into the coal cellar. Now, this is a separate building formed of stone and piled against a huge bank. There he found a frozen body of a male baby wrapped in an old coat. When questioned, Susanna admitted it was hers. It had been born dead 3 days before, and she was very upset and didn't know what to do, so she hid it. An inquest revealed, however, the baby's jaw was broken, the tongue had been torn loose, and a wad of flax was stuffed in the baby's throat. Susanna was arrested. She pleaded not guilty. She was placed in the jail in Reading at 5th and Washington Street, the county seat, to await trial. Now, previously, there had been 2 other women in Berks County who had been hanged for killing their children. They were convicted on the basis of an old law brought from England, and the law stated the mother did not have to be responsible for the death. Concealing it was enough for the hanging sentence. The liberal thinkers of that day tried to get that law changed, and they finally succeeded in 1704 when it became necessary to prove that the mother actually caused the death. In 1804, another woman was tried for killing her child, and she was acquitted. And now came another one, Susanna Cox. The state authorities were quite perturbed. They were afraid Susanna would be acquitted. They sent the state deputy attorney general, Samuel D. Franks, to head this prosecution. At this time, there was much aversion to strict laws, and large sums of money were collected for Susanna's defense. The 3 ablest attorneys were secured for this defense. In fact, it was all this legal battle that led to the interest in Susanna. The case was tried on Friday, April 7th, before Judge John Spade. The trial lasted 1 day. The jury deliberated for 4 hours. The verdict? Guilty. On Saturday, she was sentenced. Judge Spade had no other choice. She had to be hanged. Having to pronounce this sentence was so upsetting to him that he resigned his bench within a month. Now, while waiting to be hanged, Susanna was again confined to that old jail where she spent the days as the maid to Sheriff Marks, even taking her meals with the family. And again, forces rallied and tried to save Susanna. This time they pleaded with Governor Simon Snyder to commute her sentence. And they thought they were succeeding when another Lancaster County woman was arrested for killing her child. Governor Snyder ordered Susanna to be hanged on Saturday, June the 10th, between the hours of 10 a.m. and 2 p.m. Reverend Philip Reinhold Pauly, a pastor of a Reformed church in Reading, had been giving Susanna religious training while she was confined to that old jail. When her commutation was denied, Susanna then admitted her guilt to Reverend Pauly. Never in her whole life had Susanna had a new dress. The women of Reading, they visited her frequently while she was in jail, made her a lovely white dress with black bows. The first day Susanna wore her new dress was her last day alive. The procession from the old jail at 5th and Washington Street, then all the way down to Penn and up Penn to City Park, where Gallows Hill was located, was a regular parade. It included, in order, the infantry, horse-drawn wagon with a coffin and a cabinet, fife and drum corps playing a funeral march, Susanna leaning on the arm of Reverend Pauly, the sheriff's party, and a group of onlookers estimated to be approximately 20,000. The hangman, whose identity was never revealed, arrived masked. As was custom, he was paid on the spot with silver dollars. When he was finished, he got as far as 6th and Penn. He was grabbed and beaten by the crowd. He managed to escape, and he rushed to the foot of Penn and was just in time to catch that ferry that was crossing the Schuylkill River. After a prayer by Reverend Pauly, a hymn which Susanna had memorized while she was in jail was sung. And then the deed was done. Susanna Cox was the last woman in Pennsylvania to be publicly executed. After her death, there were a lot of songs and poems written about Susanna. I'm going to share a portion of one with you right now. Just as the clock would strike 11, she straightway from the jail was led to where the gallows stood. Oh, lamentable tale. So piteous her crying was, so great her anguish and her fears, that every heart was moved and every eye shed tears. She then was made to undergo the punishment of death. Scarce 17 minutes had expired when she resigned her breath. Short was and sad her pilgrimage, her youth mere drudgery, her age but 20 years and 4. Her exit, infamy. Thank you.